Fucking
Ah,
hell.
fucking hell. This is not opening with a happiness because
No. There is
no,
no more joy.
no more joy. My Americans should know very well what is causing this lack of joy. As the time of recording this, it is Thursday, November 7th, 2024, 2 days after the election, which resulted in a Trump victory. Donald Trump has won re-election in a landslide victory that nobody saw coming. Nobody saw this coming. 2020's
This is
election.
nobody could have seen it coming, honestly. Like the the thing is that there was a really good take because now watched a few of the other reactions. Obviously, we record on a Thursday,
Yeah.
which means it's at least 48 hours since the world died. Anyway, one of the reactions I saw, I'll even shout the person out, Steve Shipes. He said something that really resonated hard was like this wasn't, just like a fucky election, or like he lost the popular vote but got the thing. Like, this is more than 51%. This is America.
Yeah.
This is what America wanted culturally.
Trump
Like
got
he
Trump got 4
like
million more votes than Kamala Harris.
Yeah, this is what America wants. Unironically, this is
Yeah.
no longer a joke. But, I will say he did turn it into something positive in his response that I want to touch on as well. And he said that it's also the country that had Obama.
Yeah. I'll give my
So,
reasoning as to why I believe this happened too, because I could think that it'll make sense as to why we both had Obama and now Nazis in like the same 20-year span. Like, but yeah, you can continue your point. I just wanted to mention that.
most of that point is just that what we have to accept after this kind of victory from the Trump side is that right now it is a culture problem in America.
Yeah.
That is the culture there. That is what it is.
Hmm. Very much so.
So there's no getting around that.
I think Wyoming is the most red state according to this, with 72% voting for Trump. But that's not surprising. Wyoming has always been known to be like one of the most red states,
Yeah, but
considering
as
no one
far as
lives
I
here.
understood, like from an outsider perspective, Wyoming is a state that you drive through to get to other states for the most part.
You
Like,
fly over this. You don't even drive through Wyoming.
yeah, but remember,
You
I,
drive
I
through
I'm
here
I'm older. I watched a lot of
up
movies
here.
about uh road trips
Yeah,
through the
these states
US.
up here, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, and maybe Nebraska too, are the most Nazi states in the country.
Oh, the Dakotas,
The,
both Dakotas just fucking
this is where the militia
made out.
this is where the militias are. Like these are like your ATF shooting fucking your like compound, Nazi compound. We're gonna go take back America. Like this is where they are based. Is this area, especially this area right here, Idaho, and then like eastern Oregon and Washington. This is like the most Nazi area of the country. There's a movement to
Yeah,
have these states split in half. Yeah, we've talked about it on the podcast, the Greater Idaho
you've
movement.
told me about Idaho in conversation.
But yeah,
Talk
this election,
about
I'll give you my
But
my
like,
reasoning as to why this happened. Oh, okay,
here's
you
some of my shocking things from the outside, right?
yeah.
Is I am absolutely horrified at like Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania was pretty bad. It was
And
pretty bad.
honestly, I'm a little surprised at Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan was a big one for me. That was like really surprising because Michigan, First of all, Detroit like voted 90% Trump. Like Detroit,
Yeah,
we can actually
because
break
when I
down.
think
I actually kind of
Michigan,
want
I
to break
think
down the
Detroit.
exit
Maybe
polls.
that's
That's pretty,
something
yeah.
at a loss on my
Exit
part,
polls.
but when I do think of the state, that's what I think of. I mean, like that's where Eminem's from.
Yeah.
It is like the biggest thing from like
I just want to see
Michigan, right?
exit polls here.
Is there
Yeah.
anything bigger out of Michigan than
Flint.
Eminem?
Flint is the huge like pollution, the lead,
Grand
lead in the
Rapids?
water. Grand Rapids, Lansing's the capital. Grand Rapids is a pretty big city, and then like
Wait,
that's kind of it.
Lansing is the capital?
Lansing is the capital, yeah. Because the capital
Not Detroit?
capitals are typically decided before like the bigger cities even pop up. So like this capital is just decided like 100 years before Detroit even has its boom.
Would you not move your capital?
Who gives a shit?
Also,
You already have a cool.
geographically,
You'll
Detroit
you.
makes more sense as a capital.
No, this one's closer. This
Geographically.
one's closer in the center. They like to go for capitals that are in the center of the state. Like, best guess here what the capital of
Oh,
Ohio
okay.
is.
I know it's
What
Columbus.
about this one?
Ohio is easy. What's that?
Nope.
Indianapolis.
The capital isn't even on this one because Springfield, Indiana is so small. Oh, sorry, Springfield, Illinois. Sorry. Indianapolis is the capital. Springfield, Illinois is the capital of Springfield, even though you think it was
Springfield.
Chicago. No, but it's Springfield, which also voted
Yeah,
red,
I
surprisingly.
would think it would be Chicago because
Des
that's
Moines,
the biggest
Iowa.
Des Moines.
I forget the capital. It's isn't it Saint? No, it's what is it? I forget. St.
Is
Paul,
there a right way
Minnesota.
to say? Is there an officially right way to say Des Moines?
Des Moines. Des Moines.
Des Moines.
Des
Is
Moines.
it really Des Moines?
That's how I've always
Because
heard it pronounced.
that feels very awkward off the
Des
tongue, Des
Moines.
Moines,
I think it's
as
fucking
opposed
French or
to
some shit because
Des Moines.
it's part of the Louisiana Purchase area, so I'm sure it's French.
I do, I do, I do
Des
have
Moines,
nothing against Kentucky, but
Kentucky. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to break down the demographics here for a quick second. Men not sending their best. White people
look,
not sending their best.
unironically, the worst. This makes my case for misandry.
Black people out here defending democracy.
Of
Defending
course they are.
democracy.
Of course they are.
The only people to be like, all right, we're putting our foot down here.
It does make me wonder about that 13%.
No, they're like all what black guys. I guarantee you, they're all like black guy manosphere guys who just fucking hate
Yeah, but
women.
it says black in the thing. Of course, they're black guys. What are you saying?
I'm saying men, like they're just men. Is the 13%?
Oh,
Like they're manosphere guys.
the bro
Yeah, like workout
outfit,
gym guys. I
and they're gonna be
guarantee you,
told
most
and
men
they're
who
gonna be
vote for
told
Trump are going to
to
be like
tell
that
women.
anyway. But like, yeah, Hispanics. This is actually this exit poll is different from the one I saw, but I think the one I saw was from AP. Um,
That poor woman who put together that poll beforehand.
yeah, yeah. There's also the voting age demographics as well. Donald Trump got a significant portion of the Gen Z vote. Of course, his biggest support is the fucking lead generation. Lead people who fucking have lead in their brain. Like
Lead in their brainworms.
yeah, Gen X. They fucking
So,
love. They
so
love.
aside from like the
What a
results, right?
horrible. Yeah.
I feel like I don't even want to harp on the
Oh,
results
here's what I was
because
looking at last time. Here's what I was looking at.
yeah,
This is
I
the
saw
one.
this as well
You can see towards
on a
Clinton, Biden, and Harris
mutual
elections, 2016 to 2024.
politics
You can
streamer we watch.
yes, women peak and then they drop down because it's counting off for all the white women who vote for Trump, and then men just constant Trump going up. Um, but then the Latino brace Trump. You can see that from 2020 to 2024, a lot more Latinos voted for Trump
But
than they did.
why?
Here's what I think. I think that
Okay.
Latinos didn't vote for Harris. I just think that they didn't vote. They didn't go and vote for Trump. They just didn't vote. Because voter turnout. I also want to bring up this one also. 2020 election results. I want to bring this up as well because I think it's important to talk about this. I'll bring this up in a second though. In a second. What the fuck? Hold on. What? Yes, this is what I want. This is the 2020 election. So, we can see that Latin women still voted for Harris predominantly. White men, again, just not sending their best out here. Black men and women defending democracy, as always.
Yeah,
We salute you. Um, education is a
probably
big
helped
one.
Kamala's back.
Education, we can see
I mean,
here.
it's not a lie though, is it?
What?
Like the majority black vote being that strong, it does help that Kamala was black.
No. It helps, but
I
like that's not why this number is this high.
I
That
think
is
it's why
not
it's
why this
that.
number is this high.
I think it's why it's that high.
Maybe, but it still would have been high. It still would have been the highest turnout for Democrats. Like, there would have been black people, because it always is every single election. 'Cause why the
Yeah,
fuck
well,
would
I
you vote
mean,
for
they are
Republicans?
defending democracy. I'm just saying, like, that did help.
Yeah, it did. Um, education, we can see that a lot more uneducated people vote for Trump, and a lot more educated people vote for Harris. But regardless of degrees, it's still similar. With a degree and you're white, it's still similar.
Look, I
Young
feel like
people,
this
this
election is
one's
going
this
to
one's scary. This one's scary. Gen Z is dipped insane since Biden.
Do you know why that
Millennials are
surprises
still really
me?
close. Gen X is still the worst generation, and you can't lie to me on that. Old
Do you know
women
why
boomers tilting
the
the scale here.
18 to 29 surprises me so much that it dropped off for Harris?
Why does it surprise you?
Because Biden is old.
Yeah,
Clinton is old.
but Harris is young.
But Harris is young. So you'd think the energy, the just just purely that she has more physical energy than any of the other
I'll tell
Democratic
you why.
people.
I'll tell you why it's
It
like this.
feels like the drop off is so
I'll
harsh.
tell you why this is like this. TikTok,
Okay.
Instagram, Twitter. That's where these people are, and that's where Trump is fucking pumping millions of
Can I just
dollars
say
into.
that I think I am now fully behind the idea, and this might be a hot take to some people, but I think TikTok is right-wing media.
Yeah, I agree. It's at
Like
least
just
it's
straight
definitely.
up it's
I
a
think
platform.
TikTok itself, I don't think is like genuinely right, but it has a lot of right wing like movement and like base in it. I don't think it's like inherently right wing, but a lot of right
The
wingers
thing is,
utilize it to.
social media's cultures are made by the people, not the company.
That's what
The company
that's what
does,
I'm not talking about. I'm saying like
the
there's also a
company
lot of
does,
leftist stuff I see on TikTok a lot too. It's just
the
TikTok
company,
is just so big.
the company does allow content,
Um,
and it also controls the algorithm. And one of the very many things that I hear about TikTok from people is, wow, you just get bombarded with right-wing media a
yeah,
lot more often than politically charged left-wing media.
yeah, that is definitely true. But
I
yeah,
mean,
that does explain this. Like for
yeah,
this low drop. Um, Gen X continuing to be horrible. I hate Gen X, the fucking lead generation. Boomers. You wanna know why the boomers have been going down? One, they've been dying. Two, um, old women who were there protesting in the '70s to get Roe v. Wade passed went out and voted for Harris for abortion rights. This was entirely due to abortion that boomers are all the way back to being tied for voting. It's because of boomers.
fair.
And also, a lot of old people. I'm sure I've heard a lot of old people be like, when I was young, Nazis were the bad guys. And it's like, I'm just not voting for that. So, like, yeah, boomers have actually slipped. And instead, fucking miserable people in their 50s who have been married for 30 years and beat their wives. That's the new. They're becoming the new boomers. So, fuck them. Uh, obviously, uh, rural America votes for Trump. Harris lost the suburban creep because in previous couple elections, the suburbs have been going blue. They went blue for Biden. They went blue in the midterms, but now we lost it for this one. Urban is still very blue, though. Voters
Yeah,
are
I mean,
sour on the economy.
like
Ooh.
this just feels like beating a dead horse though, because like it's more about now what, right?
Yeah.
Like
Abortion
you
rights.
you're not there's not going to be another chance at setting things right for another 4 years if because now that's become the question, right? What about statements from Trump pre-election like you're never going to need to vote again?
Yeah. I don't even know
Like
what to think about them.
like unironically, you can in a if you want to remain positive, yeah, like you can start setting things right by weathering the storm for 4 years. But remember, during Trump's first presidency, he had a lot of people he surrounded himself with who weren't MAGA heads, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like Mike Pence was his VP, but you could never have called Mike Pence a MAGA head.
Right.
Like
He
the
was a
same way
rhino.
Jade is, right? Like Mike Pence, when the chips were down, he chose law over Trump. Trump now has far more connections and far more people, and he's going to put a lot more people in place in his like chosen cabinet that are going to choose Trump over law.
Right. I'm just now also being radicalized because I'm noticing in all the swing states, if all these people who voted for Jill Stein and Chase Oliver voted Harris, we could have won Pennsylvania. We could have won Georgia.
Yeah.
We could have won Michigan. Yeah, I think if you voted for Jill Stein, you should be arrested and then thrown into a camp. And that's probably what will be
Well, I
happening.
mean,
That's probably
if
what's going to
you
happen.
voted for
So,
it's probably what's gonna happen, everybody who didn't vote for Trump. Over the next 4 years, who knows what fucking wild shit's about to explode out of that country.
yeah, who
Your country
knows?
is your country has openly embraced fascism.
Right. It's
Like,
it's really bad. The other thing too that's
it's
really shocking to
really
see
bad.
is how fucking hard it was for Kamala to hold on to blue strongholds like New York. She only had like 55% of the vote in New York when Biden in 2020 had 60%.
Yeah.
New Jersey 57 in this election it was 51. California in this election was 63
Yeah.
in this election it was 57. 63 to 57 in
Repeatedly being kicked in the
California.
teeth. Repeatedly being kicked in the teeth.
58 in Washington
Repeatedly
compared to
being kicked
Biden's
in the
oh
teeth.
58. Okay, so remember they ridiculous.
Unabashedly just being reminded over and over
51 in
again
Minnesota
how
for
much
Harris.
worse
50 no,
everything
52.
is now than before. That's
7
unironically what
53.
this is at this point. This
She
is open
barely
torture.
yeah.
Knowing these results is physically painful.
Another thing here too. I think this is actually a good sign in my opinion. Trump's votes in this election was 72 million. In 2020, it was 74 million. Less people voted for him this election than they did last year. The issue was 81 million for Biden, 68 million for Harris. She couldn't get people to vote for her. It's not that more people went to vote for Trump. He did worse than he did in 2020. It's that nobody wanted to go vote for Harris. Nobody was
All
enthusiastic for the
those people who
Democrats.
were protesting for Israel and now
They
didn't
had
vote
nothing to
for
do with this.
Kamala because
They
of
didn't have no. I will
Palestine.
die on this hill. I will die on this hill. Leftists had no impact on this election. Israel had no impact on this election. This was entirely internal
You're,
politics with like
you're
conservatives.
repeating
And
talking points from others.
I'm
I've
not.
heard this take, and I don't completely agree.
No, I'm not just repeating it. I believe it and I agree with it. I
Well,
don't think that
I
leftists had
guess
anything to do with this
in that
election.
regard, that's a take that we don't agree on, and I can tell you why I don't agree with it.
Why don't you?
Because what is the number difference between Biden and Kamala's numbers? What is the actual number difference?
81 million minus 68 million is that's like 3 million votes. No, 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 no. That's 13 million votes. Sorry, I'm stupid. 13 million votes. That's a lot of
13
people.
mil. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that is far more people than just like that's look, you can blame the internal politics and the external like rhetoric of the Democratic Party all you want, and you can blame all the right wings and the tankies, and you can blame all these people, but at the end of the day, The fact that 13 million more Americans decided that Joe fucking Biden was more worth their vote against fascism than Kamala Harris. That's why I don't agree with that take. That's why I don't completely agree with it. Because you cannot put that 13
Here's what
million
I'll say.
people
Here's what I'll say to
down
combat
to
that.
internal democratic fuck ups. It is that. Look, I'm
No,
not
it's not.
disputing that that's played a role,
I
but I
don't think
don't
that
think
like the
it's quite enough.
protests against Israel had any effect on this election because
Because it was
Americans don't
compounded.
give a fuck about foreign policy. It is the one
Yeah.
thing that Americans do not give a single fucking shit about.
So all of those students that almost got like murdered at their
They
schools,
voted
like the
for
police
Harris.
officers,
And if they didn't vote for Harris, they voted for Stein. And they suck.
you
But I
know how
saw a
many
lot
of
of
them
them
were
voting for
standing
Harris.
outside of the DNC also still shouting about Palestine, that they
Do you
weren't
know? Hold on.
fucking.
The non-committed movement voted. Hold on. Non-committed movement. Uncommitted movement. The leader of it voted for Harris. He said vote. He said go vote. They ended the movement. They said go vote. The uncommitted movement, which was all about not
Look,
voting
just
for
because the
Harris.
leader of the movement says the thing doesn't
I
mean
know, but
all members.
I'm
All
saying
I'm
they
saying, all
didn't
these
give up. They didn't. It did.
compounded.
He wasn't fucking. It wasn't fucking. It wasn't a factor in this fucking election. 13
I think
million
all
people
of these
weren't out
things
there
are
protesting for
factors.
Harris.
This is part of the problem. This is part of the problem. You gotta accept all of the failures, not just from the DNC and the Democratic Party,
No, this
not
is
just from
entirely on
Kamala
them. This
personally.
is
This is
entirely on
also
them.
the Democratic voters.
It's fucking
13
liberals.
million is not a fucking number to sneeze at. If you put 13 million people in a room, that's a pretty crowded goddamn room.
Yeah, I know.
There are compounding factors.
Yes, and
All of them
I'm saying
more
that
than the
the fucking
economy.
Israel protests were really a very small part of that. They weren't the 13 million people who didn't vote. The 13 million people who
But
didn't
they
vote are fucking Gen X. They're people who are like tired
that
of
this was
populism.
down
They're
to
tired of
internal DNA
institutionalism.
fuckery, and that alone is a lazy take that
I can
doesn't accept that this was also the popular vote. Look at the no, like the difference is spectacular. How can he get less votes in this election and win when in the last time where he got more votes, he lost by a margin of fucking largeness. That's look, these are all compounding factors is what I'm saying. That's like
I think that
why like going over the results like this is so painful because it feels like being kicked in the teeth over and over again because it's just a reminder of how much worse everything has gotten culturally for so many people. Do you know, like, I won't say who on the podcast because I won't do that to them, but I know you'll probably know who I'm talking about. But somebody was defending the fact to me in DMs that they didn't vote. And I'm like,
I know exactly
look,
who this is.
yeah. And their defense is, oh, they live with like Trump supporters, they're in a Trump land, and I'm just thinking to myself, that's all good and well, but your vote is private. You don't have to say who you voted for. It's like, oh, they know I don't support Trump. It's like, I don't care. Tell them you voted for Jill fucking Stein. I don't give a good goddamn. But you could have put anything down on that ballot. You could have put anything down on that ballot. You act like there was somebody holding a goddamn gun to your head when all you had to do was walk down to the fucking polls, put in the fucking thing. 13 million people failed to do that. 13 million people thought that Joe Biden was a better pick for your country than Kamala Harris. When it came to fascism or Kamala Harris, your people went fascism. And that, like, that's not trying to be even an attack on you or your culture, because that's also very different from all these people who voted red, obviously, right?
Right.
You're part of that 68 million. But you kind of have to look at the rest of the US right now and go like 58, what's that? 50.8?
50.8. It's popular. That's the 50.8%. 50.8.
50.8% of the voting population who decided to give a fuck about the most important election in recent history in your country, one that could sway the entire political landscape of your country. Like, you kind of have to, like, the same way, look, I'll compare it to my situation. I'm in South Africa, right? And as we all know, I'm a minority in South Africa. Though I am pale of skin myself, I'm a minority here. You know, when people see me and they think the things of my culture, when they hear white South African, there's a very instant jump towards, oh, like Elon Musk. Like that's unironically the representation that we have right now. You have to understand, like, this isn't just an American problem. This isn't just a European problem. Like, Elon Musk, a white South African who is part of that bad South African culture, is now going to be representing part of your government
Yeah,
as well.
he's gonna
Like,
be here.
this is like, for real, you understand it's not an attack. It's this way of saying, like, look, the reality of the situation is that you're surrounded by people who clearly do not agree with you or your way of life.
Yeah.
And it's now what, right? And honestly, I know a lot of people are saying a lot of different things. So I'm gonna just do it and put in my 2 cents and say, here's my now what. Fucking radicalize the left.
I yeah, so yeah,
Fuck all this
pretty much.
soft politic bullshit. Radicalize the left. Actually do it.
Yeah,
Get the
so
fucking people off their couches. Get the philosophers out there. The real,
do
like,
not put the
far
philosophers out there.
left
Fuck you.
extreme.
Unionite
You know what I
organizers, do
mean
not
though?
put the
Like,
philosaphers out there. Those motherfuckers do not know how to talk to people. But I'm
you
glad
know
to know
what
that
I
my
mean
county
though? Like
was
the
all red.
far left, like the dreamers, the ones who want big change, not small
Uh,
incremental improvements.
Glad to
But
know that my county is the
radicalize.
most red
So
county of
that's
them
my
all.
take. So,
67% Trump. Ah!
in all
Ah!
honesty, what's your take on my take?
I think your take is good. I think, yeah, at this moment we need to fucking stop with the stupid fucking liberalism shit.
No more nice
No
politics.
more
They
fucking
openly called
Kamala
people. They
Harris's
called
goddamn
out
accept
the
concession
people
speech
for
was
eating
horrible.
cats and dogs.
I was gonna say that Bernie Sanders posted tweets condemning the Democrats' actions this election and how weak they were and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, we need
Let
that.
him cook.
Well,
Bernie's
he
on the
probably
shit.
this is probably going to be his last Senate election because he just won re-election, so he'll be on Senate for 6 years, and he's probably not going to run again in 6 years.
You know
So,
what?
so this will
If
probably be
I
his
were
last
in
time.
Bernie's shoes, if I were in Bernie's shoes, like the day they like bring in Trump and like sign him into presidency and all that and make this all official, if I were in Bernie's shoes, I'd honestly just stop. I'd just go home. Like, I know it sounds real bad,
What the
like throwing in
fuck?
the
There's
towel
a
or not
county that
fighting back.
actually went for
Bernie.
Jill Stein in Maine. That's
It's probably a
insane.
place she visited personally.
Maybe I gotta see if there's any other place that went for like a independent or something. I gotta see if there's a county that went for fucking that went for what's his goddamn name? RFK.
Okay.
Is he was still on the ballot in some
It would have
states.
to be one, yeah, it would have to be one where he was still on the ballot.
Look at
Um,
that. Florida. Jesus Christ, Florida.
little funny side note though.
There's no funny side notes with this election.
No, not with this election,
Oh, can
but
I just say real quick before you say that? Fuck Texas. Look at this county grid. Look at this shit.
yeah,
It's cut
fuck
it up into
Texas.
squares. Meanwhile, New Jersey's got like beautifully cut and carved counties.
It's look, it's all. You should just go by the popular vote completely. Get rid of this whole like district system. It's stupid.
Well, the counties exist for more than just election votes. The electoral college is the issue here. This just shows like what specific counties were
No,
like.
no, I'm not saying change anything about the local elections or any of that. All I'm saying is like
Do we really not only get one county for Jill Stein?
this is not how you decide the fucking president of your country.
Yeah.
Although like saying that now, like getting angry that the Electoral College now feels real cheap considering he did get the popular vote.
Yeah. Still
Like,
stupid though. Still a stupid
eh,
system. Did we really only get one county for Jill Stein? That's crazy. Good job, America. You didn't give Jill Stein the satisfaction of getting more than one county. Of course it was fucking Maine, though. Look at Maine. Look at this shit. Nobody voted out here. I don't think anyone actually lives here.
do people, I was about to say, do people even live
I
there?
don't think people live here. Maine is a weird fucking state. Why the hell there's so many goddamn counties in Maine? What is going on here? Why does Maine look like this? This hurts my head.
Very, very,
Very small
very,
counties. Like New
very,
Jersey's counties are
very
huge compared to them. I think New Jersey's the best way to do a county because like these are pretty damn big. There's a lot of people
They
living in
should be
these.
done geographically, if
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. And then you go to Maine and it's like it starts off geographically and then it's just like what the
They got
fuck?
some big ones up there.
What the fuck is
But
happening?
it's gerryman. You can see it from the
Look at the
fucking
people. Look at the
sky.
amount of people who voted in this
Gerryman.
one. 457 people voted for Trump here, and 230 for Cares. That's how many people live in this place.
Yeah, but I mean,
Nobody
like,
lives up here. Everyone lives in here.
this is gerrymandered to fuck
Yo,
and
this is
back.
this is absolute.
This
Well,
is
no,
super
this
gerryman.
isn't gender gerrymandering because these aren't election districts. These are just counties. These determine like these don't determine votes. What you want to look at is an election is a election district. These determine things like
Either
state
way,
congress.
that is, I
Like
do
here,
know that it is gerrymandered to fucking back.
so like here it is for New Jersey. See, these are election districts. Sorry, these are election districts. On you can see that even though this here is Ocean County, the fourth election district is this one here, where it cuts all the way into Monmouth Pier. The second election district is all of this shit with this stuff cut out. This is gerrymandering. This right here, this is gerrymandering.
Yeah, that's
Cutting out
gerrymandering.
this specific part of the town, cutting out
That's
this
what I'm
alcove
saying,
here.
is
That's
that
gerrymandering.
all of this shit doesn't help either. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's a moot point with this election. It's a moot fucking point.
yeah. Well, I
All
gotta
of
see.
this is incredibly
Craig
painful.
Smith did in fact win again. This guy has been, or Chris Smith. This guy has been in office since 1981 and just has not left office
It's
since
like,
then. He is the longest
for
serving member of Congress. I think that's cool.
people not in the know, when Trump had his first presidency, he put my country on his no-fly list.
Yeah, the Muslim ban. We can
Yeah,
actually see the specific countries probably on here. Impact. Maybe it's on here. I think yeah. Visas issued in 2016 for the seven. No wait, well, that's not all of them. Uh, Trump campaign administration. Okay, is this it? Yes, these are the countries. Any green here? Visas bank. Wait, what the fuck am I even looking at? What am I looking at? Hold on. I want to get like a list of the countries.
was this the thing that he never got to properly institute?
Trump travel ban. Here we go.
Yeah, the Trump travel ban.
The whole list of countries under travel ban. Okay, here we go. Your country's not on here.
Did he not eventually? Well,
No, it's not.
he mentioned us.
Chad,
Remember, he
Eritrea,
also
Iran,
just
Iraq, Kyrgyzstan, Libya, Myanmar, Nigeria, North Korea, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Tanzania, Venezuela, and Yemen.
says stuff.
He does just say stuff.
But this was the official list then.
That is the official list of countries that got banned. So South Africa was not banned. They probably turned down a lot of specific Muslim visas,
Yes,
but they
absolutely.
didn't just ban travel from the
They
country.
would unironically tell Muslim people in South Africa don't don't
Yeah.
don't travel to the US. There were Muslim families with like family members in the US doing like au pairing and stuff. And they were like, "You should come home now. You should just leave."
Yeah. So when it gets to
But
that, it's just better to not fucking. uh,
radicalize the left.
we're gonna get another
Rise
travel
up.
ban. We're gonna get another travel ban, and it's gonna be focused on
Bring back
fucking
angry
Mexicans.
punk
It's
music.
gonna be
Where
focused on
all
lands. It's breakcore now. The new
where
punk is breakcore.
are all no, fuck breakcore.
It's
Bring
breakcore.
back
I'm sorry, it's breakcore. The new punk
the
is the new
hardcore
punk is autistic puppy girl with breakcore. That's the new punk.
hardcore punk
You're not getting
bands.
hardcore punk. You're
Like
getting breakcore.
Johnny Rotten.
You're getting
Bring back Johnny Rotten.
you're getting.
Is Johnny Rotten still alive?
I think so. Probably.
Unironically gonna look this up because I need to know. Okay, you can look it up.
He's
John
alive.
Lydon. John Lydon. We need to talk to John Lydon. I need to talk to John Lydon. He's 68 years old. He's got a few more years in him. He's a rock star.
He's too busy doing punk rock in Britain right now because they also have their
That's not
own
what
Death
he's
of the
doing right
Nation.
now. What's he
No,
doing now?
I don't know. He's probably not doing anything right now.
Just present. What's
Public Image
he?
Ltd. Reformation. What the fuck? Leiden
Support
played
no
with Public
government.
Image in Tel Aviv, Israel, despite protests. Leiden was criticized. He said, "I really resent the assumption that I'm going to play to right-wing Nazi Jews. If Elvis fucking Costello wants to put out a gig in Israel because he suddenly got this compassion for Palestine, then good on him. But I absolutely got one rule right. Until I see an Arab country, a Muslim country with a democracy, I want to have a problem with how they're treated."
What the fuck are you talking about, John?
So do we not avow Johnny Rotten anymore?
What the fuck are you talking, John? This is such an idiot take. As the drugs won. Did the drugs win?
Whenever
Oh my
you're a
god, you
musician
fucking
in a
liar.
time of counterculture and the counterculture's gone, you become a Nazi. It's just how it is. It's
That's
just
not what
how it
happened
is.
to what's the guy from Pink Floyd? What's that motherfucker's name?
Oh no, he went tanky. John Waters, right? No,
John Waters,
yeah,
yeah,
no, not John Waters. John Waters, Pink Flamingos.
Pink
Hold on,
Flamingos.
what's his
Which
fucking
which
name? Rich. What the fuck? I'm forgetting his
which
name.
he was on he was on Piers
Rich.
Morgan.
Roger
Roger
Waters.
Waters.
Roger Waters.
Roger
I'm so
Waters.
yeah, Roger
This
Waters.
guy.
He's a tanky now. He is a
I
tanky.
know he's kind of
he
tanky, but
he
he
was like
really,
defending
really is
he was defending
passionately in the
he
right
was defending
about
Hamas.
Israel.
He's a vocal supporter for
He's
Palestine.
passionately.
He's
I
part of
feel
the
like
minute of the
his
BDS.
take on Israel
Okay,
Palestine is fucking good.
I love Roger Waters, but he is insane, and I will
He's
support him
he
despite the
is
fact he is
insane.
completely insane. He is the
But
one musician
look,
who never went to the right after their counterculture era, and I fucking love him. Also, I love The Wall. The Wall is like one of my favorite albums.
because you know what he got taken to task for by Piers Morgan? For real, the only shit that Piers Morgan could fling at him.
What
You wore a Nazi uniform.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, it's like, oh,
And it's like
and
it was a
it's like,
movie. Do you understand how movies are made, Piers?
you know what the wall is about, right?
Like you understand.
you know how the show goes, right? You know, in a
Yeah, but the
concert, you
right has
dress up
no
in a
media
costume.
literacy.
Yeah,
The right, like that is one thing that, like I've heard from Vosh and everybody, that is an unequivocally good take is that the right has zero media
they
literacy.
don't. They have no linear
Because
literacy.
look, do you know how little media literacy they have?
We can
How
actually,
disgusting is it that at Trump's like speech when he won, right? He brings out Dana goddamn White.
oh God, he talks about fucking Aiden Ross.
And they talk about Aiden Ross and Theo Fon. And I'm
Yeah,
just like, you people actually disgust me.
I just want to bring up too,
Physically.
because we're on the topic of Roger Waters and media literacy, and you'll just see people talk about another brick in the wall and like play it at like I remember seeing like Trump rallies they play another brick in the wall and it's like, yeah, we're gonna yeah, fuck the system, man. We're free thinkers, and it's like that song is about like making like schools being like indoctrination into just like a workplace. It's like an anti-capitalist song, you know. It's not
Yeah.
about being a free Like it's just like media literacy is gone. They don't understand anything. They don't know. Anti-intellectualism will always win because people are lazy. They're lazy. People are lazy.
So yeah, I don't think Roger Waters is very right on Russia. I'll
Oh yeah,
straight up
God,
say
fuck
that.
that.
He's very wrong on Russia, but he's very passionate. The thing is, he's so beautifully, passionately right about Israel Palestine. Like, this is a motherfucker who's like, have you heard about this shit in 1952? It's like, nobody else talks about that.
Well, they do, but not
That's why I
celebrities.
like his take. Yeah, but like, in the wider media, it's all
Yeah, you're
about
not.
like
Yeah.
the October 7th. What the fuck? But like, it's like this shit didn't happen on October 7th. This shit's been happening for 100 years. And Roger Waters feels like one of the few big name celebrities who's like actually
Well,
that
there was
like
an actress. I forget what her name was, but there was an actress who was pretty big with it to the point where she got a lot of hot water for being so into it. I forget who it was though. This is like a year ago that all this happened. I forget, but she was pretty big on it.
oh,
Old lady. It was an old lady actress.
old lady. There could be a few.
The,
There could be.
I know it wasn't Jamie Lee Curtis. That's the first old lady actress who comes to my head is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Like Meryl Streep or
I don't
something.
think it was Meryl Streep either. She's the other old lady actress who came to my head, but it wasn't Meryl Streep.
Sigourney Weaver.
It wasn't Sigourney Weaver.
I didn't think so. Sigourney seems like she'd be cool, but I don't actually know.
Who cares? If I can't, I'm not gonna be able to fucking remember it off the top of my head. It was someone who like I'm not, who isn't like a huge name, or it's not a huge name. It's like a mid-level celebrity, but she's like a
Mid-level celebrity,
yeah,
B-list, C-list, D-list.
yeah. Anyway, this election fucking cycle sucked ass. Trump won because people are tired of institutionalism rhetoric. They want populism, and the only populism available is fascism because leftism has been being beaten into the ground for 100 years, and nobody was going to
Yeah,
ever turn to that. Bernie
radicalized the
Sanders was
far left.
completely fucking submerged under goddamn floods of Democrat propaganda against him, so there was never going to be any chance for him to get support. And wow, look at that. Trump is the only populist talking, and he's actually giving rhetoric that people want to hear about how the system is broken. But instead of saying it's broken because of capital interest, he's saying it's broken because of dirty immigrants and because of the Democrats and the Democrats and all his opposition and everyone around him, blaming it on the gays and the Jews and the fucking black people. And oh no, he won the popular vote. But again, I'm gonna maintain hope. He only won the popular vote because Kamala Harris was really unpopular and the Democrats are unpopular. Not that the Republicans are just overwhelmingly popular. They did worse. Yes, it's really bad that Trump won, but I'm still holding out hope that most of America doesn't isn't ready for like a complete fascist dictatorship and that it won't just be met with open arms. Like
He's got
if Trump won with more votes than he did in 2020, then I'd be scared. But he won with less.
he's got 4 years to build
2
something
years.
before.
He's got 2 years because the midterm elections are in 2026. And if Trump doesn't end democracy by then, there could be a chance for him to lose the House and for him to lose the Senate, which would greatly impact him.
That depends on what they've done in the 2 years.
It does depend on what they've done in the 2 years, but two
We
years
won't be able
isn't very long.
to see that future, but we will be able to ask one question.
Yes.
How do we radicalize the left?
I don't know. I don't know. I assume. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. Because I don't want to talk about this topic for much longer, but here's what I'll say. The way that the right was radicalized was on the internet. It was through like Twitter and TikTok and shit, and also it was through complete media saturation. It was through non-stop discussion about Trump, about MAGA, about conservatives, about all of that shit. They completely controlled the media landscape. So in order for the left to be active, like fucking radicalized and like activated, it needs to be media saturation. There needs to be constant discussion around leftism and around the types of shit that we want to see. That's what needs to happen. What do you think?
Radicalize.
It's
We need to think of ways to radicalize.
yes.
Like what I did. You
Yeah.
say it happened on the internet. We need to make movements. We need to talk to people.
Yeah, as of right now, to all of my American audiences, members who are scared and who are worried, it's okay to be.
Buy guns.
That is complete. Unironically, yes. But unironically,
Radicalize.
yes.
Buy guns and
Unironically,
radicalize.
yes. Unironically, yes. Buy a gun for
For real, now
self-defense.
is the time to rise up.
No,
Left wing.
hold on. Not yet.
No,
Not
I
yet. Do
am that
not shoot
far.
cops. No, do not. Not yet. Not yet.
No, I
My
didn't say
my
shoot cops.
my belief right now, and this is a belief that I just have, is I think that
Cops are
it's
people.
okay to
Many people. But
it is okay to just prioritize your own safety rather than like your comfort. I think that's okay in a situation like this. If you are scared that you'll be outed for being
militarize.
trans, like it is, I think it is okay for you to stealth in public, to like to not present as a woman in public if you're a trans woman who's scared. If obviously if you don't give a fuck and you just still want to go out anyway, more power to you, good for you. But I'm not, I'm saying, I'm saying like right now the rules of engagement that existed previously for being trans in public have changed. If you aren't
Be
comfortable,
as ridiculous as the right wing is. Wear the
I
fucking
mean that's an
trans
approach. But
flag
what I'm
as a
saying,
giant fucking cape
I've done that.
everywhere
I've
you
done that at
go,
pride parades
even to
before.
work.
I did that at a pride parade.
I
um
know, but like
but
radicalize. Be
no,
as silly as you want to.
I'm saying for your own survival, if you're in a red area, and this, what Jade is saying is completely impossible, because what Jade is saying is like what tankies say when they're saying the great revolution will come. It's
No,
incredibly,
the great
you are
revolution is
literally doing
here
tanky shit
today.
right now.
Okay, it sounds tanky, but I'm also like anti-Russia, so what does that say?
You're just
I'm
now, okay, now
anti-China.
here's where you are now. Then you are, you sound like a 15-year-old anarchist on Twitter.
I am just like mentally a 15-year-old anarchist on
That's
Twitter.
okay, because I'm mentally a 16-year-old anarchist on Twitter, so it's like it's okay.
Like, my politics hasn't changed. Like, my personal politics is my like bigger world politics. I don't like believe, you know, like they talk about the Republicans who are okay with gay people. It's like, I don't care what you say your personal politics are. You still vote for the people who want to kill me.
Right. I'm just trying to be a
So, like, my
pragmatist
personal
about this.
politics is my wider politics.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be a
Like,
pragmatist about this, because I know a lot of people survival can be at stake here, and I'm just saying that if you feel your survival is like at, like if your life is at threat, I think it's okay to blend in, bow your head down, and just mind your own business. Keep yourself out of spotlight, keep yourself out of the light, keep yourself, just mind your own business, keep your head down. That's the word I was looking for. Keep your head down and just
I will
move
say,
along.
in
I
addition
think that's respectable in a situation of
in addition
survival.
to what you've said, I do agree. There is no shame in prioritizing your safety. When I say radicalize, when I say rise up, when I say buy guns, I'm like saying that to the people who want to do that.
Yeah, but
You know,
I think when it
like
comes down to
I'm
that,
not saying there is any shame in laying your head low and going, you know what, my life, because at the end of the day, as far as LGBT is concerned, because that's the one that stings the most, right? At least personally and close to home for
mhm,
me. Like LGBTQ plus communities throughout history have continuously suffered. This is awful, but it has also made a community of people who are actually much stronger than anybody gives credit for.
yeah, I believe the queer community is like one of the most resilient minority groups there. Like, now I'm not gonna like do oppression Olympics here, but queer history is just full of, oh, we're being exterminated again. So like this really isn't anything new for queer people. What's going to happen? Really, the
Is
weird thing was
look,
having 10 years of like acceptance from like the general social public, you know? So,
yeah,
yeah, so
every minority has their each individual struggles, but the thing that makes, I think, the LGBT issues universal is the fact that they cross class lines, they
and I think
cross
it crosses
racial
it's yeah,
lines, they cross
it's not like
demographic lines
something that
beyond any.
happens in a family, like a Mexican family living in like California. That's like a family, and they have like ties to a country or whatever the hell, a culture. With queer people, though, it's like your family could just fucking despise you, and then you're alone. Like, there's a lot of like
Yeah,
crossing over boundaries of the queer community that kind of leads it to be like kind of like chainmail, where it's like flexible and got a lot of holes,
because
but it's stuck
what you
together
find a lot,
and it
right?
stays, it
What you'll
holds.
find a lot is that at their heart, a lot of right-wing people are part of the LGBT, but they are the people who, vote for Trump but then fetishize trans people,
Yeah, like Blair White.
femboy by searching femboys
Oh,
online,
not even that, not even that. Blair White is that trans woman who voted for, who's like a Republican because it's like, I'm I'm the only good trans woman because I know I'm actually a man. That's her whole bit.
Yeah, look, even minorities, like everybody can be shitty no matter where they come from. Everybody can be shitty.
Hmm.
Everybody has the ability.
Yeah.
Even perfectly good people who have been perfectly good their entire lives can turn around one day and be shitty.
Hmm.
You never know.
Yeah. I wanna.
So,
Yeah, sorry. You continue what you were gonna say because I'm about to like change the topic somewhat.
all right. Well, the last thing there then
Well, no,
is
it's
just
not a
that
complete topic change. It's still about queer stuff. But finish what you're saying. Finish what you're saying.
it's just, I have a bucket. I don't know. What's up?
I was gonna say to everyone, like it's going to be like the '80s again, with queer people. Start stocking up on prep. You know, the medication to like prevent like AIDS stuff like that, all AIDS and stuff. Start stocking up on that. Stock up on HRT. Stock up on whatever medications you need. And medications in general. This goes beyond. This goes beyond anything really, because if Trump gets the tariffs he wants, it's everything's gonna get extremely expensive. Um,
Your medication's also gonna go up
Medication's
with
going to go up.
RFK.
Yes,
He's
our
basically gonna
regulations
get
are
bought
going to
out
die.
by the
Medication
the
and healthcare.
pharmaceutical companies are
Healthcare
gonna buy
is
out
going to
RFK in a
become
minute.
unreasonably expensive. Housing is going to become unreasonably expensive. Groceries are going to become unreasonably expensive. Everything is
Get
gas will
your
probably go up too.
prophylactics now. Get
Yeah,
your prophylactics now.
I recommend buying like wholesale bulk food, like base foods. Don't buy like pre-made frozen meals. Go buy beans and rice and bread and like cheese and shit. And that will be like how you make your fucking meals. Don't buy pre-made shit because that stuff's gonna be $20 for 200 calories. Go buy like bulk of rice and shit. Go do that. Start buying like canned vegetables that last for a long time and stuff. Go start buying non-perishables that you make your own meals out of. Don't rely on pre-made shit. Stop getting DoorDashes. Don't rely on fast food. This is like a great way to just fucking prepare yourself for the nightmare that's going to be the Trump economy. And if none of this winds up happening, if it winds up being fine, you got a lot of rice, you know? And I was wrong, and you got a lot of rice. So who's laughing now, you know?
Your food situation sorted.
Yeah. Again, with medication, make sure you're stocked up enough to last a long time, especially like you have time. It's he doesn't get inaugurated until January 20th, and he probably won't get anything done until the end of February. So there's time. It's not like it'll be instantly like tomorrow everything's going to shit. I mean,
But with him winning the House and the Senate, right? Like he's gonna
it
have a
still
lot
takes
of
time.
executive
Like
power day one.
it still takes time to get things going
Yeah,
though. Like he's not. It's not like he hits a button and everything all of a sudden becomes like fucking $500 more. Like
No, but
the pains of the
presidents
economy
they
probably won't be
known
felt
aren't
until like a few
presidents
months.
known for like pulling off an executive order or two on day one?
No, no, not unless
I
there's like a
remember
crisis in
Obama,
the country,
no,
like
didn't
FDR.
Obama do that?
Maybe, but that's also because when Obama took office, there was a recession. So maybe in 2008, that was he won in the 2008 election, so he got inaugurated January 20th, 2009, in the middle of a recession that was like really, really bad. So I assume maybe he probably did something day one, but I don't remember. But it's not typically normal unless there's a crisis, which there is no crisis right now. But Trump, I mean,
There
Republicans,
is a crisis right
yeah, well,
now.
there is, but like I'm saying, like separate from the election, there's no recession, there's no like war right now. But MAGA people do believe there's like a fucking recession.
Yeah.
MAGA people, there's no war in America. That's what I'm saying. There's no World War II right now. It's not FDR coming into office.
What happens to front lines if America does unironically civil war? Yeah, like not, I'm
Here we
not
want to
trying
do
to
we
wish
want to do some
Hitler's
LARPing.
existence.
I'm actually, you know what? I'm in the mood to do some LARPing of what would happen in American Civil War. We'll pull up the 2024 election map again as a reference.
Modern American civil war. We already have the two sides, MAGA versus everyone, I guess,
Okay,
because
so hold
MAGA
on.
is not going to stop.
Yeah, well, we'll just use this map as reference. So we can tell from the 2024 election map alone. I don't think like Michigan and Wisconsin would be like wrong. Like first of all, we have to decide what the inciting incident of a war like this is. And
Okay,
I don't know what it would be now that Trump's president. I could only have seen this happening if Trump wasn't president. But for the hypothetical fun, let's just assume that like something happens and now the Republicans and Democrats, not even Republicans and Democrats, the right and the left and the center, like all like a coalition of liberals and like socialists, whatever the fuck, are fighting the Nazis. Maybe some conservatives are also in the liberal
but aren't
side,
a
but
lot of the center just the right?
kinda, but they won't support it. A lot of the center won't support a fucking civil
Because a
war.
lot of your left is the center.
Yeah, no, a lot of the center won't support a civil war. That's the thing. Especially if it's fucking like MAGA fascists and Nazis, they won't support a civil war. You have to just be a fucking MAGA Nazi if you want to do a MAGA Nazi civil war, which to me would mean that like the South is the birthplace of this, of course, and
Okay.
up here would be a big hotspot too. So like there'd probably be a lot of fighting up here, like in Washington, Oregon. Washington, Oregon would probably be a big hotspot because Seattle's really big. It's on the border of Canada, so I don't know what the fuck would go on with Canada.
I guess the biggest question is like what the biggest military institution is going to do, and that's
The
the army,
Pentagon,
right?
the Pentagon.
So the Pentagon controls the army.
The Pentagon is the head of the armed forces of America. And the Pentagon is mostly run by bureaucratic liberals. That's who runs the Pentagon. At worst, they're neocons. Fascists really don't like education. And they definitely don't want. I mean, like, there's a few notable people. Michael Flynn, who I don't think is a general anymore, but he probably will be under Trump. Michael Flynn used to be a general. He's a QAnon guy. He's fucking insane. He only lasted a month. He's really bad. Michael Flynn's really bad, but like people like him are kind of rare in the Pentagon. So like,
But when it comes to just the government, like Trump has the House, the Senate, the everything. If it comes to the institutional side of it, would the army not then be controlled mostly by
in my opinion,
Trump?
in my
Obviously, a lot of the culture of the army might split off, and those would
yeah,
join any opposing forces. But clearly, the mechanisms of the army would fall into Trump's
in my
hands, right?
opinion, I think the army is significantly less to the right than the police are. So, like, I think, because, like, to think of it like this, the army is made up, like, soldiers. Soldiers are
So,
predominantly made up of young men, a lot of young women, too, who are just fresh out of high school or have been in the army for, like, 3 or 4 years, and they're doing it for, like, a ideological reason where the police are a bunch of old guys in like their 30s and 40s, 50s, sometimes 60s. You know, they get old,
Divorced.
divorced men, predominantly men, sometimes a lot of women, but predominantly men, who want to do like who in the police. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of them go in there to protect and serve, but a lot of
Almost
police
all of them
officers
have
just have
heard
a
the word.
control freak or just control freaks. They have
All of them have heard
fantasies.
the word.
Yes.
We're dropping the charges.
Yes. So like I think that if the army was sent to go fucking do like Civil War shit, you know, in Civil Wars you always got fucking whole villages slaughtered by the army that just came in. That's not happening in America. They're not. I don't think American soldiers can, like, in their good heart, go up to a village in fucking Iowa and just gun down people. I don't think the army can do that. I think that police officers could do that. I think you could get some really fucked up
So,
cops to go do that.
so,
I don't think the
so
army
in
can do
that
that.
case,
I don't think an American
Trump
Civil War would be
controls
as bad as like Syria.
most of the mechanisms of the Pentagon itself, but he'd have to militarize the
But
police force.
he wouldn't, yeah, he wouldn't
He would
have the
lose
support
the
of a lot of
actual armed
soldiers.
forces.
He didn't lose the whole armed forces. There'd definitely be a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I serve the Constitution, and therefore I serve Trump." You know, and all that. And there's are definitely people who would
Chain of
support Trump.
command and all
Yeah,
that.
but like a lot of the army probably wouldn't just instantly fall in line with the government. It wouldn't be a government versus non-government battle. It would be like a split all the way down the country between people in the government
Because I
and
do
not in the
feel like
government,
there'd be a
all the
lot
way
of
split.
people currently in government who would join the opposing Trump
Yeah, they
forces.
would. They would.
Bernie'd be there, I'd believe.
Yeah.
I mean, like Bernie's ancient.
Punished Bernie,
Bernie's
fucking
pretty
Metal
much
Gear
just
Solid
watching it.
5, goddamn Punished Snake out there. Yeah,
AOC.
AOC is like a junior Democrat who's got like 10 years of experience at most under her belt. Like nobody in the party trusts her or likes her really. She's got
I
like
don't
no
know,
sway
but
other than the
she
internet.
gives me very much like if this shit happened for real, she gives me very much like carrying a gun on the front lines kind of
I think you're
vibes.
really like LARPing right now, and I think we need to change
Probably,
the
but
topic. You're being like a cringe Reddit lit like socialist right now.
well, I mean, we went back
Oh,
to the results
AOC, Bernie.
so long, and I'm just like, I'm in pain. This election has clearly driven me insane.
Let's talk about a good thing.
Let's talk about a good thing. Do you know what's a really nice thing? The little pictures you've been drawing.
Yay! I was just gonna bring those up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I drew some photos for the podcast. I've only done 4 at the time of recording for the first 4 episodes, but I like them. I think they're nice. And I'm drawing them all on hand with pencil and paper, and I'm not a good artist, so I'm trying my best. But I wanted to give some life to the podcast because making everything in like fucking snapshot, like all fucking like Canva and stuff, like it's neat. It works. It does its purpose, but like it doesn't match art. It doesn't match like real drawn illustrations or like art and stuff. Yeah, no matter like it's always gonna look like it came from Canva.
but
It
is it art? And yes, it is.
it is art, yes. Um, but I don't like it
Why?
because I want to have like something that has like because like I feel like if you looked at it, if you were looking at our podcast, I don't think you would be interested if it was just how the thumbnails look now. But if we had
Yeah.
art, yeah, look at that. There's
So,
soul to it. There's soul being added to it. It shows the
so
effort that
you're
we put
gonna.
into our podcast. But yeah, this is the one for episode 1. It's a dog and a rat and the talking and a mic and the rat's on a bunch of books because the rat is small and I realized, wait a minute, I drew the rat too high. I'll draw standing on books now. And now there's a dog. You can see the
You drew
pencil
the right
erase marks
too
from
high.
like original drawings.
I see those eyes. You did draw the right too
No,
high.
I didn't know how to draw eyeballs, so I did this. And I also didn't know how to
The
draw a
dog
mouth, so I
blue
didn't draw
eyes.
a dog mouth.
Yeah.
So you can tell that I'm just drawing to avoid. I'm avoiding drawing what I don't know how to draw. So yeah. And then the next episode was this one where it was the one where we talked about it was the cozy planet we live on. So I was like, oh, Earth,
Oh, that's
cozy.
cozy now.
So like there's the rat and the dog.
I like this one.
lying on, I guess, an asteroid or some shit because it's tiny.
The moon.
That's what I thought, but it's so small. Look how small it
Yeah, but what does
is.
perspective mean in a
um,
drawing like this? It's the moon.
then
Body.
the next one, only real gamers get this reference. This is the Mario 2 ending screen.
Uh, uh,
Look at how
we
bad
have,
this rat is.
I don't know. This rat's okay.
It's not that good. But I like the way the
Rat's
dog came out.
okay.
The dog came out really well. I basically just traced Mario. Actually, this is freehand. This is freehand using a reference. I didn't trace this. This is me just looking at my screen and then drawing on the paper. And I think I did okay for that. This is a really good curve. This is the best curve I've ever drawn in anything ever.
I'm so proud of your curves.
uh, that's that episode. And then this is the one that I made in 10 seconds. Do you want to see what it is?
All right.
This is the worst one. I might redo this one. This one's really bad.
Is this
This is the
when
roller
you took
coaster
me on
one.
a journey of roller coasters
Yes,
and tried
yes, it
to
was. This is
fill
lit.
my brain with
That
roller coaster
Yeah,
knowledge?
and I could still do that. I could still give you roller coaster knowledge if you want it.
I kind of mentally turned off for a lot of that.
This is all we talked about in that episode, pretty much. So I didn't know what else to draw, so I drew a fucking roller coaster.
Yeah, that was a lot of roller coaster knowledge that you dropped. I
Yeah,
don't think that currently, right now in my life, at this moment, after having done the podcast with you, after all of this, after having done that episode, I right now know nothing about roller coasters.
right now at this moment, you know nothing about roller coasters.
Nothing. And you know what? I don't know how to change that because telling me anything about roller coasters right now would probably not change that.
I cannot believe my passion is being ignored by my partner.
It's not
How could
even
this happen?
ignored. It's just like
It's ignored.
there was so much
I don't. We
going
only talked
on
about it for like
that
half an
felt
hour.
like you literally just said that's the whole thing we did on the podcast. All you could think to draw was a
It wasn't
fucking
a
roller.
long episode. It was only like an hour-long episode. The other half was talking about my date with David. So that
So
was
percentage wise,
is half of it.
more than half.
Yeah. Ooh. Uh. Ah. Oh, I want to talk about
I mean,
fucking
there
Stellaris real quick.
is that.
I want to talk about fucking
Stellaris.
Stellaris
Yeah,
because
right on.
holy shit, me and Jade have been playing Stellaris for like the whole week. Like since last like Saturday or Friday or whatever the fuck we've been playing Stellaris every night. With the exception of Monday because I streamed. And also the exception of tonight because I'm gonna stream. I fucking love Stellaris. Holy shit. I already like a lot of Paradox games, and I have played Stellaris in the past a lot, but I just am really appreciating Stellaris a lot more these past few days. It's just like it's so chill. It's so chill. It's so chill. It's so chill.
That's why
Robots are
I
so
like
good.
Paradox
Robots
games.
are so good. I love
Now,
robots.
now, tell everybody the truth about what your take was before we had our sessions playing together.
What?
Like you never got this far, and you told me you never really
Oh,
did this much
oh,
content of Polaris.
yeah, no. Before we got the
Like
session, the most
you
I
didn't
never got
realize
into
how
the
deep
mid game.
most of the fucking systems go because you never got to the mid game.
Yeah, I never got to the mid game before. So in my head, to me the most fun of Stellaris before I've had this whole bunch of sessions with Jade. But to me, what used to be the most fun part was the early game, like just that initial stage of making your empire, and then like just getting thrown out there and being like, yay! Because then as soon as things start compiling against me, I was never able to like hold my own against it. And Jade, you've seen me whenever like we go into a war that I just start panicking. I'm just like, uh.
Yeah.
I'm not someone who
Because I very
enjoys.
clearly remember you going like, "Oh shit, we gotta end this war," and me just like casually sending one fleet down the entire length of the enemy empire
Because
to come and like stop you
for
freak
me,
out.
I approach war in video games in two ways. Either I don't build an army and therefore I don't do like I build an army enough to where like the AI doesn't get upset with me for like the AI doesn't like, oh, we're gonna invade you because you had no army. Like I build enough to where it satiates the AI around me, but I'd never use it to invade, and I just
You
chill and
get
turtle.
off the easy target list.
Yeah, I get myself off the easy target list. Um, and then the other approach is I am going to do a military based playthrough right now. I don't just casually go to war in like strategy games. I don't like it. I don't because it's stressful. War, especially like paradox games, civilization. It's stressful. It's why I have been so hesitant about Total War because like,
War in Civ
ugh,
games is painful.
it can be really fun. It's just like, holy shit! If you fuck up a
Like,
war in a Civ
look,
game, you ruin your game.
yeah, but that's kind of what I mean in a way. Is like it's so easy to war is too far like pulled away. Like it doesn't make any logical sense to me. It's very much like trying to play a point and click game from the 90s. But in paradox games, wars are pure logic. They work like you'd understand real life more or less to try and function. The bigger the the bigger people are going to win. And it all comes down to the numbers. And in paradox games, they very easily put the numbers there in front of you.
I just get overwhelmed by a
I
lot of numbers.
barely look. I barely look when I build my army in CK3 because what you essentially have to remember is okay, these motherfuckers hit the hardest, get at least two of them, and everybody else covers the counters. And you just get the strongest version of whatever covers the counters. And you just beef that up as big as you can constantly. That's all you do in
I mean,
paradox
that's how
games. All of
that's also how civilization works. Except civilization has the tile mechanic, so you actually have to like move your armies to specific tiles. But, like
yes,
maneuvering,
but I mean
maneuvering is
like
a bigger part of Civ combat. But yeah, that's basically Civ 6 combat. Like just
look
I need my
look at
big guys and then the
how
guys who cover them.
important positioning and movement is in Stellaris.
Yeah, that's true.
Where you keep your naval fleets is very important.
Mm. Mm-hmm. But I almost lost like a fucking 7K fleet to a 12K fleet because it cut me off and I had nowhere to run. So then I had to just basically go into battle and hit retreat so it could like get spared.
Did did you not put your fleets together though?
They had to be separate because I had two front lines. Remember, I had that one end that had no star bases because I was at my capacity when I was trying to make that like rush to get all that land.
True,
So I had to
but
have
I
I had to have a
do
fleet there because otherwise they would have been straight to my capital.
remember saying keep both of your fleets together. Their fleets are pretty big.
Yes, but that other way
I know you had two
had
front lines, but there were choices to be made, and losing a fleet,
I didn't lose a
even
fleet though. So
you
boom,
retreated. You lost it temporarily.
I lost it for like half a year.
That's a long time in a war.
Yeah, but they never pushed because my starbase was too powerful. It was 20K, 20K power.
That's true. You do build up a lot better defensively in Stellaris than me, but
I love turtling. I love
I
it.
take I take a very pragmatic approach to Stellaris where I kind of like suss out my neighbors first, right? I do a lot of thinking about who I am and who my neighbors are. If I'm a xenophile and they're a xenophile, I know like we're gonna get along great, no matter what the differences are. Materialist versus theocratic or spiritualist. Like, I know there's going to be some friction there, but like, you just find out the empire that is most likely to go to war with you and start first. Be bigger than them. That's it. Like, like, you don't even need to know the perfect ratios of the perfect things, but just keep getting bigger is like just everything in most paradox games. Just be bigger than the other person that you want to fight. And if somebody is bigger than you and you can't like take them on, you have two choices. You gotta either get yourself some allies, protect yourself diplomatically, or you gotta learn how to grow real fucking fast.
And I prefer the diplomatic approach. I like playing as a big fucking union with all these people in my little faction federation and having my little friends to come bail me out. I like that. I like being a
You
small.
know,
That's why I like the corporation because it's like I make my. The thing is too. The current game we're playing, I'm playing a corporation, but I spawned next to so much open area that had no one in it that I just extended into it anyway, so I could deny the enemy next to me who also is huge and also had all that area. So like in any other game, I would have been completely content with being a small little corporation. That was my intention. I didn't want to be the biggest fucking nation on the planet. I was cursed to deny my enemy power. Because if I didn't take up that land, that person would have been ungodly powerful, unreasonably.
they
Yeah,
could have choked themselves out
they
through
could
poor
have,
management.
they could have, but I don't want to bet on that because they're still really big. They would have been
Yeah.
huge, but I cut
But
them off. So
so I know that this playthrough is still gonna go a little bit,
yeah,
and I don't know if you want to do another one after or in the future,
stream it.
but no, not just stream it, but I have a particular thing I want you to do in Stellaris. Maybe do stream it because it'll be interesting to see on stream, I guess. But I know there's a button you've never pushed that I think that you should aim for in a playthrough.
Iron Man.
I think you should become the Crisis.
Ooh, I was thinking about
Never
like
become the Crisis? This is horrifying to me because when you said you'd never gone past the mid game, like it didn't occur to me then, but it's now occurred to me.
I've never even seen the
You've never
Crisis.
become the
I've never
Crisis.
even seen the
You never even
Crisis.
seen the Crisis?
I haven't even seen a
Fuck
mid
that.
game Crisis. I haven't seen
You
any
can
Crisis.
become the
I
Crisis.
want to like see the
So
Crisis
here's
before I
my
become it.
recommendation. Here's my recommendation.
I'm not good
Right?
enough for the thing.
Necrophage.
Just a complete like dead empire of like dead people and shit.
Death cult.
Death cultist. I mean, I want to do that. It's just like I want to like play the game completely through normally before I start doing shit like that because I have never even seen the Crisis in the base game. So like, my God, my Lord.
Yeah, and the best part is like just because you've become the crisis doesn't prevent the other crises.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, because there are multiple crises in Stellaris.
They
There
all
are
come out.
mid-game
I thought
crises.
only like one comes out.
You could set it up that all of them come out.
I knew
Like,
that.
we choose the option random.
Yeah,
You can choose all,
yeah.
and people do choose to play that way.
Jesus Christ. Well, I guess they fight each other then. So it's not like
Well, I
that hard.
mean, there are cases of the crises taking each other out, but if they're surviving long enough to overlap, that's already a problem. Like, oh, this crisis wiped out 85% of the galaxy, then this one popped up, and now it's eating that crisis and also eating the other remaining 15 to 25% of the galaxy. It's just, it
Want some
gets
Star Wars lore?
absolutely wild.
Want
What?
some Star Wars lore? Star
But
Wars
hit me.
had its own like crisis where it's like 80% of the galaxy just gets murdered. I forget how to pronounce it. Yuzhong Vong. Yeah, Yuzhong Vong. This was in like the Legends era of stuff, so it's like pre-Disney buyout, so none of this is canon anymore. But there was like a race of people from a different galaxy who just came in and like killed everyone after the events of the original trilogy. Like Chewbacca got crushed by a planet during this.
You know, I think I realized why I stopped liking Star Wars.
Is it Chewbacca getting crushed by a planet?
No, it was the realization that this wasn't science fiction.
It's science fantasy.
Yeah, and I don't like science fantasy.
I think it's fun. I just find myself getting very rarely sucked into Star Wars because it's just so dense, but I mean, sometimes I like some Star Wars. Sometimes I like it. If you like science fiction, I think prequels are the best of that for Star Wars. But like anything after
No,
the prequels, like
the prequel. No, the prequels are also science fantasy. It's space wizards.
I'm just thinking of
On
I'm
its
thinking of all the
face, there's
clone stuff.
no.
I'm thinking of clones and the battle droids and stuff, and I'm thinking of the prequels, honestly.
Yeah, but
So
I
like, I'm
mean,
like, oh,
like
yeah, but no, the Jedi are just space wizards.
space wizards.
Space wizards. I don't know.
Like that the entire Empire like arc like hinges on space wizards. It's science
Space
fantasy. It's
wizards.
really silly. It's saving the princess for Christ's sake. Like
But it's
it's
fun.
right there on the tin.
It's fun.
It's fun. I'm not
It's
saying it's
fun
not
where like
fun, but
half
it's
the
not for
movies
me.
are really bad too.
It's fun, but it's not for me.
You know what? Actually, right
I
now,
even
because
think
there's not
that the old movies are good. I even think that the like 4, 5, and 6 are good.
because you know what? Let's start introducing this format into the I only want the movies. I want to start implementing some more like segments into the podcast of like different variety of stuff, and I think a tier list is perfect for this because they're obviously just browser, just type it in, boom, and there's discussion around it. Perfect, perfect.
Well, send me this link, and I'll also put my tail list up there.
Well, no, we're gonna do this one together. We're gonna collaborate. We're gonna
Well,
make this one together.
your opinions and my opinions are going to differ.
I'm aware. That's why we come to a middle ground. This is called a consensus. This is called a discussion.
It's just a
Also, bold of
consensus.
them to not include an F tier on a Star Wars tier list.
Bold, bold.
Bold of them. Um, they had the holiday
Okay,
special on this.
you need to
Oh,
put the holiday special. Hear me out.
in
In
S.
S tier.
I
And
this
here's
is
the
this is
reason
one of
why.
my favorite like pieces of shit. How about this? How about this? How about this? How about this? Give it its own tier because I don't want to genuinely put the
I
holiday
don't want it
special.
to have its own tier. I don't want
No,
it
I
to.
don't want it
It
to
is
be with fucking actual movies I enjoy though, for
no,
like a
but here's the
legitimately
thing.
reason.
Here's the thing. Hear me out.
What is this?
It is proof that it used to actually like have a soul in there.
Yeah,
Like if
I know what you
nothing
mean.
else, that is the real evidence that in there was a real soul. It may not because that's the thing, it's not always pretty. Like the art we make isn't always, you know, pretty, but like that was really a display of soul. So I think unironically I will put it in the S tier.
I'm just ordering these in release order right now. I think Rise of Skywalker is after
Fucking
Rogue One and
nerd.
Solo.
Fucking nerd.
I'm just trying to order. I don't remember if Rogue One or Last Jedi was first. I think Rogue One was first. What year was Last Jedi? Was Last Jedi 2018?
Really, really fuck with people. Put it in chronological order.
Last Jedi was 2017, and then Rogue One was 2018.
No, like
Rogue One was
chronological.
2016. Holy shit!
Put it in chronological story order.
So it's the
How's
same.
that for
It's
you?
the same as release order then.
No, it isn't. 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, you're right. I'm stupid.
7, 8, 9.
I'm stupid.
But then also you've got Solo in there, which takes place before 4.
No, we're not doing fucking chronological order. We're not. We're doing
Actually,
release
also
order.
did it. So, if you want to be a nerd,
We're gonna
be
be
a
in there.
nerd.
Technically, the holiday special takes place in between. Actually, if we're doing release order, the holiday special is in between these two, right? No, there's Ewoks. No, there's no Ewoks. It's just Chewbacca's. I forgot. There's no Ewoks in this one.
Do you
Wait,
know
is
why
this?
they're called Ewoks?
This is before Empire because this is the first appearance of Boba
Do
Fett.
you, do you know why they're called Ewoks?
I don't actually know. No, why?
Because they're short and hairy, and Wookiee is
Oh,
big and hairy. They're
oh,
Ewok. Wookiee.
oh, that's fun.
They're Wookiee backwards.
That's fun.
Like, the creativity. This is science fantasy. This is fucking.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Star Wars,
this
also
is
known
this
as
is
Star Wars: A New Hope, Episode 4. Episode 4, New Hope, whatever the fuck.
episode 4. So, in short, episode 4 starts with droids. They fall down to the planet. We meet Luke. Luke meets Ben. We get the lowdown on the basic shit. Is it like
Is it like not the most well paced movie like ever?
Yeah, but it's also the hero's journey.
Yeah, but also like it's a
It's
fucking
the
good
fucking
version.
end all over again.
Yeah, but it's like a very solid, good, classic depiction of the hero's journey. Like this is the best hero's journey you're ever gonna fucking get.
I wouldn't call it that, but it is good.
It is really.
And
Oh, hold on. Are we ranking these in context of other movies or in the context of each other's movies? I think we should do it in each other's movies context because otherwise a lot of these are just gonna be fucking B tier.
yeah,
In the context of each other's movies,
in the
in the context
context
of
of
Star Wars
Star
movies,
Wars,
S tier.
this is really part of the S tier. I would argue that it is that yeah, absolutely. You are so opposed to putting that in S tier.
I don't want it there.
You are
I don't
so
want it
opposed.
there.
And put it above the S tier.
No, it stays here. It's together.
Uh, uh,
It's together.
if
They're
it's gonna
binded
have,
together.
yeah, they're gonna be bound from.
Fine,
There we go.
fine. I'll do that, but it's not going here. It's not going in that number. I love the holiday special as delicious garbage, but it is not fucking S tier.
All
A
right,
New Hope,
and what do we have?
Empire is also S tier, probably better than. I'm also because there's so few of them. I'm gonna rank them tier. This is the
Yeah,
best Star Wars movie.
I would say that it is better than the first one. They
Empire is
polished up a lot of the stuff.
it's the best Star Wars movie. The best one.
Yeah,
Return of the
yeah, no,
Jedi. I know a lot of people fucking hate Return of the
A,
Jedi, but I like it.
A. I think that it gets to A.
Yeah, it's got issues, but I think it's really good still. As a kid, it was my favorite.
I mean, like it has all the things because that's the thing, right? Is that the Ewok theory about Star Wars?
That is that anything to do with how the Ewoks were added for like marketability or some shit?
Not just that, but like there was this thing where you had two kinds of Star Wars fans, right?
Right.
The ones who loved the
And the
Ewoks
ones who
and the
don't.
ones who hated the
Yes.
Ewoks.
Yes,
And
I'm
the
aware of
younger
this.
generation loved the Ewoks because they saw the movie as kids. But
That
the
was
older
me.
generation was cynical and they saw like, they've added this thing for kids. Ew. And so there was this whole thing about like you can tell how old somebody is,
I know how
more
I
or
feel
less,
about
by
the Ewoks.
like the Ewok theory. I mean, it's so far back now, nobody gives a shit. But like at
I
one point, I was
love
like,
Ewoks. I think they're fucking amazing. And I like it when I see little fucking creatures just walking around in suits and they're like it's very Riley core and I like it.
those
So
Ewoks deserve medals.
they do. I don't know what these movies are, but they look like shit. These look like actual dog shit. Like
What is that?
I don't know what
What
these
is that?
are. I can't even read the titles because it's got fucking crazy ass gold lettering. I'm gonna assume that says Clockwork Orange and The Shining. So, weird how those are on here. Anyway, episode 1. You want
Episode
to hear a hot
one.
take? Me too.
I'll give you one though. I think it's A tier,
Oh
and I
shit!
will
Oh wait,
give you.
actually, I was
I
going
will
B tier
give
as a
you.
concession. I was going B tier as a concession.
I will give you multiple reasons. Right. Number one, when you think epic fight music, that battle music from
It's
the end
fucking
of the movie
yeah.
is iconic. Number one.
Yes,
Number two, you have Liam Neeson,
yes. Qui-Gon Jinn
and
absolutely is the main character of this movie, and he
a
fucking
character
kills.
that if you are a nerd and you do get into this stuff lore-wise, Qui-Gon Jinn is possibly one of the most fucking badass
He is.
characters in
I think
universe
he's
who
my
got fucking
favorite Star Wars
shafted in the
character.
movie.
I think he's my favorite Star Wars character.
Like, I think it was a video I saw somewhere where it was like, guess who's the one person Palpatine truly fears? And it's like, oh, by the way, this quiet asshole is just like low key the most terrifying thing to the most
I
terrifying thing in the
love
galaxy.
Qui Gon. I love him. I love him so much, and I'm so upset that he was only ever in one movie.
I love Ewan McGregor, but Qui-Gon Jinn as a
Ewan McGregor
character is
is the heart and
far
soul of the rest of the
superior.
trilogy. Um, Episode 2 is a D tier. It's not so bad. It's
Yeah.
not so bad, but it's like really bad.
It's when they decided, like, when did science fantasy need a whole bunch of fucking politics? It's like, no, we just want to
No,
see you for the
I'll
next.
say this. I'll say this. I think the politics could have worked. The issue was the scenes were so uninterestingly shot and written and
Yeah,
acted that they're just bad. They're just bad. It's not the
yeah,
idea of
because
it's
it felt
bad.
like they tried to emulate real world politics, and that's not what they needed to do. They needed
They
to
needed space
like
politics.
high fantasy it up, like
Yeah, there needed to be
they
intrigue
needed.
and subterfuge, which they tried to do with the assassination plot on Padme, but then it's just like, oh,
Yeah, but that plot was dumb
yeah,
too.
it's dumb, it's boring, it's stupid.
Because
The worst part of this movie though,
immediately they just shipped them off to Tatooine or
the
no Naboo to do like boring stuff.
This movie would be a C tier if it wasn't for the fact that nothing. Sorry, no. So here's the issue of this movie. There's a lot of issues with this movie. One, they just have that horrible fucking romance. That brings it down to the romance alone. That romance is fucking horrible. Hayden Christensen trying
They
his
just there's no
best to be
chemistry.
charismatic. Yeah, just no, there's
But
nothing at all.
some of that is also down to the dialogue.
The writing, there's no chemistry between the
Because
two of
I
them.
do
I
I
don't think
do
Hayden
think
Christensen is that
both
good at
of them,
that style.
both no, 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 fuck that. No, I know what you're gonna say, but I think both of them are great actors.
Hmm. I haven't seen Hayden Christensen in anything
Both
but
of
Star Wars.
I've seen him in other things. I've seen his work, and he is actually charismatic, and he is
Oh,
actually a
okay,
good actor, and he,
okay.
he does actually have the chops. The thing is that it's the Kristen Stewart Twilight thing. It's
Um,
the it's the what's the other person from Twilight?
Robert Pattinson.
Batman? No, Robert Pattinson. Like everybody hated those two people, but now they're like some of the most respected people for their acting, right?
Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean. It's just the
So, and
writing.
that's what happened to Hayden Christensen.
It's
He
the
got
writing.
fucked by the Star Wars writing.
Yeah, yeah.
And
This,
they also had no chemistry. But I do think, like, look, I like Natalie Portman as an actress,
yeah.
but it seems that she doesn't have a lot of chemistry with a lot of people she acts
I
opposite.
can't attest to that. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to give comment on that. But yeah, the romance in this movie fucking sucks. The other issue with this movie is that half of it just isn't a plot. Like nothing. Like this movie is just Obi-Wan wandering from planet to planet, from place to
Mhm.
place for like an hour and a half, and then the droid factory segment, and then it's like, oh, now we're on like a fucking Coliseum, and then they fight Dooku. And it's like everything happens in the last like 40 minutes of the movie, and everything beforehand is just Obi-Wan wandering around and Anakin and Padme badly
It's
flirting.
funny you mentioned that because I remember seeing a video of Ewan McGregor himself talking about his time for like filming like, that movie specifically. And he said like for like 90% of the movie, for me filming, it's just me on a green screen talking to tennis balls on sticks. Like
Do you
it's
want to know the sad?
really
I know.
quite
I'm sure you know about
pleasant.
this.
Like
The saddest thing I've ever seen recorded behind the scenes was Ian McKellen crying on the set of The Hobbit because everything was a green screen, and he was just like, "I can't do this." Have you seen that video?
I haven't and I don't think I want
I'm
to
not gonna
because
show you.
honestly
It
I
is
do
really sad. He's like,
because to me like
because especially because he
Ian
worked on the
McKellen
original Lord
comes
of the
from
Rings
that.
set, which he's like,
Not only that,
it's like just that.
Ian McKellen is
Fucking,
almost as old as the Lord of the Rings itself.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like an
Like,
actual fan of it too. It's like,
yeah,
uh,
but he's also somebody who comes
I
from a
love him a lot.
time like
Yeah,
where
icon.
acting was a craft.
Yes. Yes.
Like, acting today is a little bit different because we have a certain
It's a
cynicism.
lot
There's a
more
lot of meta
commercialized.
commentary. There's commercialization to it. But he comes from
He's a stage
a
actor.
time and place where acting is a
Is he?
craft, where real people sit down. He is. And I don't think he's as rich as so like he grew up as rich as some of
Yes, he
his
is.
his contemporaries, but
Love him so much.
he is a theater kid
I love
through
him
and through.
so much. I
He
love
is
him.
absolutely a
He's a
wonderful human
treasure, and
being.
I love
He
him.
is in one of the most horrifying movies I've ever seen, though.
What movie?
Apt Pupil.
I have not seen it nor heard anything about it, and
He
if
plays a Nazi
oh oh
hiding out in a suburban town in America
very common, very
after the
that's
end
a
of World
Family Guy
War,
episode.
who then becomes friends with one of the boys from the
That's
town.
literally the Family
And
Guy
then,
episode. Now I know what that Family Guy episode is referencing.
yes, it's referencing Stephen King's novel, Apt Pupil, which was made into a
Oh,
movie starring Ian McKellen, where Ian McKellen is the Nazi who
see,
teaches the kid to
in
murder
the Family
people.
Guy episode, the Nazi wants to molest Chris, but then the other old man, Herbert, who also wants to molest Chris, they get in a fight, and Herbert pushes the Nazi down the stairs and he breaks his back and dies. That was the first episode of Family Guy I ever watched, by the way. I was watching it
Do
with
you
my
know what's
grandma.
kind of
I watched it
horrifying?
with my grandma.
You know, it's kind of like an existential kind of horror.
What?
Is when people much younger than you tell you that these like very classical like cultural touchstones in media from history and their first encounter with it is a goddamn Family Guy episode. The deep level of sadness inside of a soul dying slowly, learning that news.
Well, would you rather me not know
The
it?
thing is, like, wow, it's just striking to me.
Let's continue
It's
with this.
a realization. But
I want to
yes,
say one last thing about episode two. The best part of Attack of the Clones is the Lego levels on the Lego Star Wars games. And especially the DS version, because as a kid I played Lego Star Wars 2 on the DS all the fucking time, and I really liked the episode on Camino, the video, the level on Camino. That was my favorite. That was my favorite
the
level as a kid.
best part for me about episode two is that after many, 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 many years, we finally got to see that little green fuck actually fight
That
someone.
is true. That is
Because out
true.
of
The green
anything,
fuck
we
got his
keep
ass up.
getting told that off screen Yoda is like the badass to end all badasses. We finally get to see that little Kermit looking little motherfucker fight. And that was
It is
awesome.
extremely true. Uh, episode three. I think it's better than episode one.
I do think it's better than episode one.
Yeah,
I do think
it's
that's
the best
better
of the
than
original
episode one.
trilogy. Like, and it's
And you
like
know what?
it's like legitimately good too. It's not. It doesn't even have any like issues where like Jar Jar's in this one. Like it's
Now that you're thinking about episode three, try to rethink some of what you saw Hayden Christensen do in that movie.
yeah, no, yeah, I think he's good in this one. I think
There
it's
we
all down to
go.
dialogue.
Got the
I hate
difference.
you. Like he's got good emotion there, but like I hate you. So stupid. It's so bad. The dialogue is just so bad in these movies. It's really corny and
They
like,
are
it's over,
very,
Anakin.
very
I have the
corny.
high ground. You
But it's
underestimate my power. Don't
in
try
science
it.
fantasy, it really is just emulating the fantasy side, right?
Yeah,
It's just fantasy in space, and fantasy dialogue is
Shakespeare in
also
the space.
pretty much like I have the power.
Yes. This movie fucking sucks, by the way. This is the Clone Wars movie, not the sheet, not the TV show. The movie that came out just before the TV show started.
The movie was definitely
This movie's
good.
horrible. This movie's F tier. No one's gonna argue this. No, this movie's horrible.
The
Um,
series, I would put it a solid B though.
at its best, it's like an S. The show at its best is like S tier. It's like some of the best like sci-fi. Like at least in terms of Star Wars stuff, it's like at S. But like in terms of other things, then I'd say like A at highest. But in terms of Star Wars, at its best, it's S tier. At its worst, it's like fucking F tier. It's really one of those shows where it's just like,
Yeah,
but
that's
like
fair. I've seen
averagely
people
B
rave
tier.
about the good stuff, and I've seen people shit on the bad
The
stuff.
bad stuff is like the first two seasons, especially the first season. It's very like episodic children's show where it's like, you learned your lesson at the end of the day. But then like the end of the show, it's like, yeah, people legitimately like this, so we're gonna like make some like real good stories here now.
Probably as it ramps up the war as well.
Yeah. All right, now time for the real hot takes. Disney era, Disney Star Wars.
So here's something I have to kind of admit at this point.
What is it?
I stopped watching.
Ooh, good, good, good.
Like
So I can just rank these on my
everything,
own.
everything left
It's up to me.
is unironically stuff that I skipped. I watched reviews, I watched video essays, I know the content, I know the broad story. I know some of the more contentious parts. I know what people got angry about, but I never actually sat down
Mm.
and watched them and because I won't have much of an opinion on the rest of these, I'll just say it now. I don't even think these movies are worth my time.
They're not.
I
Maybe
don't
I don't know
think
what I
they're
will
worth
say. The only thing I say
two
watch
to
is Rogue
three.
One. That's the only one I'll say you should watch because Rogue One is like pretty good,
The thing is that
and it's disconnected from like the
I
rest of
hear
these.
I hear you on an audio level. I hear you, but none of these feel worth my personal 2 to 3 hours. This is time that I could spend playing Stellaris with you. This
Yeah,
is time I could spend like working on stream stuff. This the that li- I could literally watch Mr. Beast takedown videos and stuff rather than watch
yeah.
any of these Star
So
Wars
I
movies.
can give my
That's my
opinions
point.
on these unfettered, then
I do think
unshackled.
that they're all bad. As far as everything I've seen,
Mm,
I think all the series are bad. I didn't watch any of them. None of them are worth my time
I need to
either.
see
That's my
Andor.
take.
Andor's the only show they've made that I want to watch, and
I
like
mean, to
Mandalorian
be
season one
fair,
and two.
this is the whole genre break, right? Like when I realized it was science fantasy, I stopped.
Yeah. Anyway, Force Awakens is just A New Hope again. It really is. It is just A New Hope again. Everything this movie does is A New Hope. They even
My
do the
memory
like
was that people said it was fan service, the movie for Star
it was
Wars.
fan service the movie for Star Wars. That's kind of this whole trilogy. The first movie here and like the last couple this movie here, yeah, the complete fan service. Complete fan service. This movie really has
Uh,
nothing to work on with its own.
uh,
It's really just kind of everything cool in this movie was ruined by Rise of Skywalker because like it sets up so much stuff that never gets acted upon again. Like Finn possibly becoming like knowing how to use a lightsaber and shit. They just never bring that up again. Like the fucking Snoke doesn't go anywhere. Snoke just gets killed in the next movie with no fucking rhyme or reason as to what his whole deal was. Like a lot of shit that just exists in this movie never goes anywhere. Um, Rogue One,
who did these?
J.J.
Who's the name behind
J.J. Abrams did this
that?
one.
He's a bad
Yes,
filmmaker.
Rian Johnson, who directed Breaking Bad episodes, like he did Crawl Space. He did this one. For what it's worth, this movie is very well directed, but he didn't write this. It's very well directed, but he did not write this.
So the biggest criticism
And
I
I don't
remember
remember who did this one.
for the really red one
We're not at that one yet. We're Rogue One still.
there.
Rogue One. Um, hey,
Eh? Surprising to me. This is the one I've heard the least about.
it's it's pretty solid, honestly. Like it.
Well, I'll say I've heard the least about Solo, but
I haven't seen
this
Solo.
this is
I
right
have
up.
not seen
Yeah,
Solo,
this is
so
right
I can't
up.
rank Solo.
This is right up there with like I really don't know.
I would recommend Rogue One simply because it's the least science fantasy out of all of these. It doesn't have any Jedi in it. Like it's just the whole plot of this movie is explaining how the rebels got their hands on the Death Star plans. 'Cause you know at the beginning of New
That's
Hope,
that's that,
they're
that's
like
that's
we
an
acquired the Death Star
intriguing
plans.
story. That sounds like an intriguing
Yeah,
story,
it's pretty fun.
but science fantasy goes deeper than like the wizards in
That's fair.
space.
I mean
Like
that's fair.
it's
I
intrinsic
think
to the world building
it
and
is.
stuff.
There's a
Like,
character.
if I
There
need
is
to
a
sit down
Force
and
monk.
watch another Star Wars I haven't seen, then
This one.
that is
Choose this
one
one.
that
It's a
I'll
completely
choose.
standalone experience.
Okay,
They
that
made a
is so
TV
cool.
show based on. There's a character in the show cast. There's a character here, Cassian Andor. They made a show on him, and that show I haven't seen it, but everyone says it's like the best thing out of Star Wars since the original trilogy. So I do need to see that as well. And that's like a Prison Break fucking Star Wars show, and I need to see that.
And all, right?
Andor, yeah. I've heard really good things about it. Anyway, Last Jedi. This might be the most
Uh,
controversial opinion of this.
is this where they had
Last
Mark
Jedi is
Hamill drink like
yes.
this?
Last Jedi is better than Force Awakens solely because
You
of
say
Luke
that
Skywalker.
even though it's the movie that made Mark Hamill drink like
That was
yak.
milk. It was milk. He was drinking milk. He was drinking yak milk. It was just ugly looking.
Yeah, but the point being is that they really just shafted his character. I
No, they
feel like
didn't. They didn't. People who said that don't know what they're fucking talking about. They didn't. Luke Skywalker
maybe
was good in this movie. He was good. He's a jaded
maybe
old
it's
man whose fucking pupil went crazy. He's like I failed my students. I am just gonna go fucking live on this island. He's a jaded old man who's just fucking becoming like what all the Jedi before him made the mistake of. Before Rey comes in and he's like has to learn how to. Everything with Luke and Rey in this movie is good. And that's why it's better than Force Awakens because they actually did new shit. They didn't just do Luke and Yoda again. The dynamic between Rey and Luke is much different than Luke and Yoda. You have this like Yoda was like I will teach you, yes I must. But then Luke's like I'm not going to teach you. I'm not teaching more people how to be Jedi because this shit never ends well. And Rey's like, yeah, but I'm different and shit. And then it's like I could prove myself as like worthy of being. And there's like an actual dynamic here. Granted, I only saw the movie once, so I can't give you specific details, but I know for a fact this movie did Luke and Rey in an interesting way. Didn't mean for that to rhyme. However, everything outside of Luke and Rey, this movie sucks.
fair enough.
Except for the directing. The directing, there's some really good looking shots in here. There are some really good looking shots. I think
But you
that
said it was done by the Crawl Space guy.
it's done by the guy who did like a lot of the big episodes of Breaking Bad. He did Ozymandias, I
So
believe.
yeah, a lot of those episodes you're referring to,
Perfect director.
they have pretty good cinematography.
Yeah,
That's good
this movie
directing.
has good cinematography. I remember there's a lot of really visually interesting scenes in this movie. Like I'm sure you've heard of the part where that one woman goes into like light speed or the fuck through all the ships. So she like cuts like the Imperial fleet in half, like sacrificing herself, but she cuts like the whole fleet in half in like 1 second by going into light speed through the ship. That
Yeah,
scene
that
is
was,
that scene visually looks fucking great.
but it's hardcore science fantasy.
It is, but not really. That's like we're going really fast now, and we're gonna cut right through this shit. That's not science fantasy.
All of that is not how that works.
Shush.
All of it is
It's
not how that
science
works.
fiction.
All of
It's
it is not how
fiction,
that
you
works.
fucking
No,
nerd. It's
science
cool.
fiction is a different genre.
It's cool. It's fiction.
You can call it cool. I'm not disputing the coolness. What I'm saying is it's
That's not
hardcore
how that
science
works.
fantasy.
Okay. Whatever the fuck.
Not how that
What
works.
was that guy's name? I forgot his name. The whatever the
You
fuck.
say the name I think you're gonna say, then you better fucking like
Neil deGrasse
come up
Tyson.
with okay.
You're being Neil deGrasse Tyson right now. That's not how that works. That's not how that would work at all. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck
I
up.
mean, I'm a sci-fi fan.
Shut the fuck
I'm,
up.
and this is where I'm outed as like the Star Trek fan.
You are a Star Trek fan.
I am a Star Trek
There are no
fan.
C tier movies apparently. You know what I'm gonna change? I'm gonna move this down here just so there's more spread here. Because I think that so yeah no, Last Jedi is actually not that bad. I'm also gonna lower maybe this down just so there's more spread. I
Yeah.
feel like it's a little crowded. The difference between
So
this and this being here is really minor.
it is.
Maybe this goes
There's
down
only
here.
one left by that merit then, right?
This movie's bad. This movie's actively bad. I don't think it's like as
Actually,
bad as this though, but I think it's pretty bad.
so which is the one of them that had the fight in the throne room?
That was Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
I also thought the scene
So
was like okay, but there's a lot of
not
issues with it. But like,
not that, but like the choreography. Look, I'm not somebody who likes action movies per se,
yeah,
but fight choreography is fascinating to me, especially when
yes,
it's done well. But it can also be fascinating when it's done incredibly poorly. And I've seen a breakdown of that throne room scene, and wow, they gave up. Like, if you compare that fight scene, right, to just the Qui-Gon Jinn fight, with
with
Darth
Darth
Maul.
Maul. Yeah, it's not good.
Like, like you are 30 years in the future. Like this is 20 years later almost, and here they are making the worst fight scene in a Star Wars movie. Like the
Yeah,
one
I think it's
people really want to see is the people swinging their lightsabers
the
cool, and they fucked it up.
the most consistent theme of the Star Wars Disney era is bad fight scenes. It's like every single show that has like a lightsaber fight in it, it's gonna have a bad lightsaber fight. Every single movie is gonna have a bad lightsaber fight. I like the writing in that scene though, like the subversion of Kylo working with Rey, like their relationship. I think that's probably the best part of this trilogy is them. But yeah, the fight scene there is really bad. And that continues into this movie where I don't like a single thing in this movie. I think I don't. I don't think I like. I think I like the water planet that they go to, where it's like all stormy and it looks like Scotland.
Oh,
I
goodness.
like that. I like that planet. They rode cool boats.
They
But the
wrote
rest of this movie fucking sucks. This is fan service. They like, we got Lando back. Oh no, Chewie died. No, he didn't. Oh no, C-3PO died. Oh no, he didn't. Guys, look at returning characters. They're back.
well,
So,
this
yay.
part of, but like that you mentioned boats. I'm just thinking to myself
I'll show you what the boat was. It
in a
was
setting
report
like
shit. I just forgot to type in that. Is it what it's called? Yeah, this thing. They ride this thing. Because it's like a poor planet. They don't have like a lot of good space shit, so it's just like, yeah, just ride on the water like this. I think it looked cool. There's no pictures of it apparently. Oh, the sea skiff. I thought it was neat. I thought it looked cool. I don't think it fits Star Wars really that well, but like I don't know, it looked cool.
yeah, it's just a
There's like
lot of the
no.
stuff in
That's
Star
it.
Wars.
That like the fact there's only two images of it
Really,
shows how little in the movie it was and how it's just like not an issue. But I'm like, yeah, I liked it because this movie has literally nothing. This movie the movie sucks. It's really fucking
yeah.
bad. I don't agree with people who call Rey a Mary Sue. I think that is just a pure sexism argument. I don't.
What's the Mary Sue thing
So
again?
a Mary Sue, according to like GamerGate, like anti SJW people, a Mary Sue is just a woman who is really good at what they do. That's a Mary Sue. A Mary Sue is actually
Oh,
someone who is miraculously good at everything. Everyone loves them, and nothing bad happens to them. And they're an artist. They're a writer self-insert. That is a Mary Sue. It's a fan fiction thing. It doesn't
yeah.
really happen in actual movies. It never really happens. But a lot of GamerGate anti-SJW people will call like Rey a Mary Sue, or fucking Korra from Legends of Korra Mary Sue.
I see. So it's just evil rhetoric once again.
It's just like conservative like weirdos like the
Look,
quartering being
I
annoying.
as I said, I didn't actually watch the movies, right?
Yeah.
But from the media that I have consumed surrounding the movies, it doesn't seem to me at all like Rey as a character or the actress who played her was really what was wrong in the
No.
end with
No.
why it was bad.
Ray was not the issue with these movies.
She, the guy who played Flynn, his character,
Finn.
like these are not
Ray and
Finn.
Finn are good. They're
I don't think they
and
were what was
Adam
wrong with
Driver as Kylo Ren. Those three did their fucking best.
they look, they were not what was bad about it, but a lot of the writing was absolutely awful.
Yes.
The thing that people really want to see in Star Wars is the lightsaber fights. Like, yeah, we'll sit through the weird like spaceships and space wizards and all of that, but at some point there's got to be a lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the entire setup here is to get to the next like the lightsaber fights are a high point.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that a lot of Star Wars fans want is good world building. That's what a lot of hardcore
Yeah,
Star Wars fans want, and these movies have horrible world building. All of the world building is just
look,
let's repeat the original trilogy again. So basically, in the
it's
lore, it's like,
not hard.
yay, the original trilogy happened, and then it happened again with the new people, and it's like,
It's not
really?
hard, right? Like, let's be honest here, world building in sci fantasy is not hard.
It's not easy, but it's not like difficult. It's not like you have to like
The
fucking
thing is that
agonizingly
when you
labor over
world
it.
build
World building is
in
fun.
hard sci-fi, when you world build in hard sci-fi, every decision you make has implications for other decisions. But in
Right.
Star Wars, you can just be like, okay, so on this planet, human beings are enslaved by little flying blue people who are like
And this is
clearly
fun.
anti-Semitic in some way. You know, that's what we're gonna do, and it's gonna be a sand planet with two suns. They don't need to think about the fucking three-body problem. Fuck them. That's why I say, comparatively,
God, you're such a
sci-fi.
space nerd.
Fuck you.
I'm not saying that's a bad
I
thing.
ain't
I'm just
white.
saying
I
I don't
ain't
think I've ever
white.
seen this side of you. I've never seen the space nerd come out,
No,
even during
no.
Stellaris.
Because look, Stellaris is also filling a different niche from it. Stellaris is filling a different niche.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am a little bit of a space nerd in more of the way that I'm a fascinated by the universe as a whole nerd.
Right. Well,
You know,
you know what? You know how earlier how we were like, oh, let's keep it short. We went for 2 hours. Yeah, we constantly go longer than we should. It's because this is a good sign that we just love each other's company. And we have nothing better to do.
this is currently the best thing I want to do right now. You
Yeah,
know,
but we do have to cut it.
I mean, we I will say, like, since we are gonna cut it in like the next minute, this podcast almost didn't happen.
Yes, I was in a really bad mood last night with all the election stuff. That I was just like, maybe we should just skip a week. But I was like, no, I want to do it anyway. I want to do it. I enjoy doing it, and I'm happy I did do it because we didn't just
It's a
doom and
high
gloom about the
point.
election.
It's a high point.
It is a high point. It is a nice thing to keep people distracted. I'm sure a lot of people forgot about the election listening to this because I forgot about the election while talking about this. Uh,
Exactly.
exactly, and that's exactly me. And again, I don't mean to bring it up at the end of this, but my, I think again, I'm gonna reiterate some stuff we said earlier. Stay safe. Prepare for whatever fucking bad shit happens.
Ideologically,
Know that, like, just know this. Has there ever been a time in history where the bad guys were allowed to exist for more than like a century? No, for more than like a lifetime. Has the bad guys been allowed to exist for more than a lifetime?
that's a very heavy perspective swing there, considering the papacy. But let's not think too hard about it
That's a whole like
and
that's different.
start
That's different. That's
blaming.
like a world order. That's like a structure of the world, not like a regime. I'm talking about like a
Yeah,
regime.
and at
You
one
know,
point they had to surrender to nations, and now they surrender to no one. So
that's like
on
that's
that
different.
note,
That's not like a political party that took over an office.
I would rate them as highly political, considering they are a nation
That's
state.
not what I'm talking about. I'm trying to be optimistic here. Shut the fuck up. The Nazis only lasted like 15 years at most. Wait, how?
The more
1933 to 19. Not even
every
15 years.
minute you defend this is another minute I will continue to get darker.
No. No. You
Or
know
we
what?
can end the
In the
podcast.
last 100 years, what the fuck has the papacy ever done to harm someone? They're useless. They don't do shit.
You mean the fact that all of the African nations that ban prophylactics and healthcare and LGBT rights,
They don't give a
all of
fuck
them
about
point
the
to the
Pope.
Catholic.
Do you think they
Yes,
give a
they are
shit?
highly religious. They are highly religious.
Well,
They are
here's what I have to
highly
say about
religious, and
that. Here's what I have to say about that. If they weren't religious, if they're still right wing, if they weren't religious, they'd ban it anyway. The
yeah,
papacy,
no,
but that's not the papacy. That's the point.
they
That's not the papacy sending out fucking mercenaries and going to raid the Crusades again.
the
That's just
papacy says, well, you
that's like
know,
saying that's like saying that Marx is responsible for like the Soviet Union going, hey, we're pointing to Marxism. We're going to put you in a camp. Points to Marxism. Like just because you point to something doesn't make the fucking papacy responsible. The papacy's bad, but they're fucking useless. They're just an old man in a room. Just an old man in a room. He has no fucking power. All of his power is fake.
you mean one of the largest financial entities on the planet?
Watch what the anti-Semitic dog whistles were.
What do you mean anti-Semitic? They're fucking Catholics. They're not Semites. Those are just words now. How is that an anti-Semitic joke whistle? And we all know that I'm like very much, not a fan of the Catholics. I'm very open
But not a
about
big
that.
fan of the Jews, huh? Huh?
Oh, well, I mean, look, the Jews are fine. And I'm talking about Catholics right now, and I'm not a fan. Not a
I'm
fan of
sorry.
organized
I'm just
religion
I
based
heard most
content.
powerful banking sector in the world, and I was just like, making a joke about this.
Most powerful financial entity is the Catholic Church.
No, it's not. It's me. I am. I own the world because I own your heart.
My heart
Yeah, it's mine.
is very cheap.
No, no, that makes me broke.
But
Oh
you
well,
are a capturer of many hearts, are you not?
not true. Uh,
Not true.
not true. Debate that in the comments.
Debate that in the comments.
We're gonna
Hearts
we're
for
gonna leave you
Riley.
to it now, everyone.
Hearts for Riley.
Yes, and for Jade. Anyway, everyone in the audience who's American or not, please stay safe. The world is scary, but we can survive. We've done so before. Everybody, have a good night, have a good week, have a good day, have a good spray. Goodbye.